You know, when I first saw this video, I was like, well, I need to make a reaction to this. Like, I just need to. I 100% need to. Why? Well, because I mean, I have a few books. Like, I've read a few of them, right? Myself, right? I read 300 self improvement books to learn these three lessons, which I wasn't sure there was even 300 books, self help books, I should say. And it's like, I hope he's not lying. Because, I mean, if you read 300 self improvement books, 300, it seems like that you get to a point there where it becomes kind of redundant. Like, and I know this already. Like, even with just like the small amount that I've been reading. Of course, I love reading and I love knowledge, and I think that all of that is very helpful if I could apply it. And it's good to know. Like, I don't have anything against self improvement books. Like, I really don't. But it's also like I do feel like I see some overarching themes because I think it's like what Gary Vee said one time, and I should look at the camera more. So, it's like what Gary Vee said one time, where he mentioned that there's really only 15 truths. He's just got to say it a million different ways to catch you at the right time, with the right slang, at the right moment, in the right video, whatever, right? Right platform. But really, there's only like, yeah, I feel like there's kind of very little like truth. There's probably like a countable amount, of, like handful of like crazy ideas that would help you. I know one of the main ones from what I've read, like the main, if I had to pick one thing that I felt was a common theme amongst all of them, is to live purposefully, right? To find your purpose, to find your passion, to find what it is that you love to do so that you can, get through any of the suffering, right? Because when there's a purpose to it all, then you can overcome suffering, you can embrace suffering, you can endure suffering, whatever you want to call it, any shit in your life. And I mean, it just seems like motherfuckers don't realize they're running on old software. Like, you're never gonna be like, you gotta really identify and sort of classify exactly what it is that you're looking for when you like, you have to know and be conscious that you're looking for something that is just not what you're built for. We're not built to be happy, we're built for survival. We don't care for happiness. We're not here to be happy or to feel good. Those things only feel good because there's things that are promoted that we should do them, right? Like sex or whatever, right? These chemicals that you have them, you're running old software that only helped our hunter-gatherer ancestors because, well, we have the same bodies that they do. We have the same biological makeup, and we are moving too fast. Society's moving too fast. We're changing way too fast. It's not catching up because it takes thousands of years for shit to change, like genetics and that. And it's like, it's not catching up, homie. We're moving too fast. And you should know we're not here for, we're not built for survival. I mean, we're not built for happiness. We're built for survival. I said that wrong. And it's just like, when you're getting into this, you got to know happiness is just gonna come and go. It's ups and downs through life. Like, there's no way to just be happy, right? So you have to really identify what it is that you're looking for and identify what happiness is to you. You know what joy is and that. So that's why all of them say purpose, because they realize, well, they can't tell you, well, this is the way to always be happy, because that's not a thing. So they tell you, well, even through the shitty moments, to not have them be so bad, let there be a purpose to it, and then you can endure, right? Let's go. Let me stop
All right, nothing
talking.
broke. We're good. I read over 369 self-improvement books.
I doubt
they all
it.
pretty much say the same three things. I'll give you the three lessons in this video. Big idea number one. On the first day of class,
Such a handsome man. Look at him. He got the shit like unbuttoned.
Groups. The left side of the class was the
Sorry?
professors in this video. Big idea number one. On the first day of class, a photography
Atomic
professor
Habits.
divided
Great
his
book.
students into two groups. The left side of the class was the quantity group. They would be graded at the end of the semester on how many photos they took. 90 would be an A, 80 would be a B, 70 would be a C, you get the rest. The right side of the class was the quality group. They were going to be graded on one singular photo. It had to be near perfect because that was the only image they were grading off of. Where are you putting your money? The quantity or the quality group? The results shocked him. See, almost all the standout best photos that you'd want to look at didn't come from the quality group, they came from the quantity group. Because instead of all the pressure of, I'm graded on one photo, they spent their time in the dark room getting angles, composition on Lightroom, which gave them more skills and produced better results. It's easy to get bogged down in waiting for things to be perfect before you take action to improve yourself, before you start the business, before you enter the relationship. See, I just gotta prepare a little bit more, and then I'll finally be ready. This study sums up perfectly the big idea of stop waiting. In this case, stop waiting for things to be perfect. As Voltaire says,
that is good. I do notice that. That was also in the like how to be a better man or something like that. I don't know which one. Well, I don't know what the fuck I was reading. But it was like, you have to understand that women will not. Like you have to stop hoping and wishing for things to be perfect. It's like what Jim Rohn says. Don't pray for shit to be easier. Pray to be better men, right? John F. Kennedy. Don't pray for easy times, gentlemen, whatever. Pray to be stronger men, right? It's just like, motherfuckers are holding on to this hope that shit is just gonna get better. It ain't gonna get better. And for the man thing, it's like, fundamentally, you have to realize women are never gonna fundamentally understand you. Like, just forget about it, right? So it's just like, the time's not coming. They're not gonna understand you. Forget about it. So, I do see that. I do feel I see the stop waiting thing, amongst other things. I have seen that.
The best is the enemy of good. And I'm all for having high standards. But what you'll hear time and time and time again is that your ability to reach your standards actually comes through action, not just waiting and prepping on the sideline. When I started on YouTube, had I worried about making the perfect video and saying everything right and perfect execution, I wouldn't have posted half the videos I did. Subpoint A is stop waiting for the perfect moment to get started and just go for it. Subpoint B on this main truth.
Such a handsome man, I gotta say that.
Who wrote the book, The Tools, which would take me 30 minutes to find for you. He's a therapist who works in Hollywood with some A-list clients. A trend he notices is that people are waiting for what he calls exoneration. Now that's a term that gets used if you commit a crime and then you're proven innocent. The burden has been lifted off of you and you're finally free. In the context of life, it goes much deeper. People want to be exonerated from life's struggles. Clark, when's the moment where I read enough and I'm finally enlightened? When can I read enough business books and then I finally know the perfect path to make $1 million? Human nature. In fact, that belief is even embedded in our society. Most people work jobs for 40 years that they're just okay with in the hopes of being exonerated. One day they can sit back on the beach. I'm retired, baby.
Oh my god, I could have so much to say about that, bro. Seneca is rolling in his grave. Seneca is rolling in his fucking grave. I'm telling you right now, he is. Jesus Christ. That man is fuming. He's fuming that these motherfuckers think that they're immortal. They think that they're actually gonna make it to 65, confirmed anyway. Oh my good gravy, man. But it's just like, did I say good gravy? Anyway. It's just like, but it's also like, you kind of need people that are doing the, because we live in a society, we live in a system. You can't have everybody just doing what they really love to. I feel like we kind of have to have, like, you know, these construction workers. We have to have motherfuckers going down in them sewers. So, I mean, but that's just for work. Like, that doesn't encompass all of their life. But, like, for work, I mean, motherfuckers, like, there's just we have a need for somebody to be there to create these things. We have a need for people. Like, we do need people to do these things. If they can find a purpose behind it all, then they can live happily doing whatever it is that they do, even if it's, like, really hard, back-breaking work, like construction or something. Or maybe they can actually just say, I love doing construction work, because that's a thing, too, and that's completely possible. And if you can do that, well, you're a winner. You know, all power to you. But it's also like, well, you know, we don't live in a world where everybody could just really, like, do everything that they love as a job. Like, they just kind of can't. We're not at that point yet. I mean, I think of, you know, maybe one day we'll build robots and then we'll have them do all of the tedious, shitty work that we need people to do now that we don't really see why anybody would want to do that, but they do it anyway because they have to. All of that shit, you know, could be fixed by robots in the future, but that's the future. And then we'll have to find out, well, what are they going to replace those jobs with? Hopefully something more creative. Hopefully something like people, you know, just, we'll find a way, right? Job openings are coming. metaverse, whatever the fuck it is, man. Like, just stop being so, like, motherfuckers are so pessimistic when it comes to that shit.
I no longer have to work, and now I can live the good life. Look at me. Retirement. Get educated.
You don't even
for 20
know.
Years, work for 40 so you can finally start enjoying the last 20. See the narrative?
And you don't even know you're gonna make it to 65. Shut up, Harvard.
On a much more macro level, most of the books say that life's struggles don't go away, and that actually the resistance of the struggle creates the struggle more. If you read any books on Stoicism, there's actually a word for this. It's called eudaimonia, where they didn't believe in the word of happiness. That just wasn't something they used. Happiness? What do you mean? They thought that eudaimonia meant fulfillment. And that comes through hard work, sweat equity, struggling, and working for things. Happiness comes from solving your problems, not avoiding them. Martin Seligman is one of my heroes in the positive psychology space. One of the pioneers, a trailblazer. And I gotta tell you about his famous study with dogs. In 1967, he did a research study. 3 groups of dogs, each of them the exact same experiment. Group 1 could push the lever and escape. Groups 2 and 3 got a little dark. Group number 2 of these dogs would receive shocks, and if they pushed the lever, they could escape. However, group number 3, same exact shocks, pushing the lever did nothing. They couldn't escape the shocks. And before you think, WTF Clark, this puppy shocking asshole is your hero, it was the 60s, times were wild. Here's where this gets interesting. Part 2 of this study, same dogs, same shocks, same lever. Group 3, even though they had the same setup, they could push the lever, escape and end the shocks. Hey, did you hear? You can escape. Because of their conditioning from that first experiment, where they pushed it and nothing happened, they didn't even try. Since they previously had learned that nothing they did mattered, they quite literally rolled over and took it. The term from the study is coined learned helplessness, meaning that we get conditioned into believing that nothing we do will matter. Now, we're not dogs, but you can apply this to human behavior as well. A smoker who repeatedly tries to quit smoking and fails, what's the point? I'm just gonna quit again. An entrepreneur, an artist who tries to take themselves full-time and make a living, beaten down and discouraged, eventually they quit. Or relationship after relationship, heartbreak after heartbreak, that doesn't work out, and all you're left with are the memories and the pain. And maybe the dog if you're lucky. The more life shocks you with shit, the easier we fall into category number 3. What's the point? Why bother? Psychologists say that if you want to become instantly depressed, operate from learned helplessness. Because nothing you do matters anyway, right? There's a lack of control, a lack of hope. So what's the opposite of learned helplessness? Instead of a lack of...
I've seen a post like this. It was like, well, they put chains. It was like an elephant post. I don't know how real it is. I think it's maybe it's just an analogy. Maybe it's just a story that it's similar to that study. It's like, well, when the fucking elephants are young and they'll have them chained up to something, they'll grow up. And apparently they won't even use the chains. When an elephant is fully grown and they grow up, after when they were younger, they were chained up and they couldn't go anywhere, they couldn't move. After they grow up and they get big, they don't even use real chains. They just use like some weak shit to keep them bound. And like they don't even try to escape or break free from it, even if they really want to, because they think that, they've been changed up all their lives. So they associate everything as being like those chains, right? And it's like, well, they're not even gonna try to break free from this shit because they think it's just like a chain, and they remember back then I tried to break free, didn't really work. Why even try now, right? And I think that that's very similar to that, and you see that a lot. You see that in a lot of places. You see that everywhere. I mean, it's a very crazy thing people should know about. I like these rings, by the way.
Of hope, no point whatsoever. Big idea number 2, you develop self-reliance. And that's literally what self-improvement is. So no wonder all the books are saying this. Relying on yourself, improving yourself, getting up from those shocks with tenacity, with grit, and taking your power back. Some try to illustrate the power of self-reliance through Instagram quotes and platitudes and motivational speeches. I'm more of a fan of success stories. People who say, F the shocks, I'm gonna get up and do something about it. I just so happen to know one. Let's give him a call. What is that, monster number 7?
Yeah, probably.
Remember that one time you dragged me out to meet Post Malone because I was too nervous?
You should have tackled him.
I should have tackled it. Eric is in the band with me. I've known him for 6 years. We've played
Motherfuckers are in a
Germany
band?
together, 30,000 people, gone all around the world. It's the coolest thing we do. He's got a really inspiring story about like what happens when you decide to just stop settling and reinvent yourself. What was kind of like the low point of it?
Stuff on the road, you know, you can do whatever you want. I was doing a ton of drugs, basically trying to top every night. No care in the world, the worst credit score, you know, just living horribly. I think a lot of people didn't trust me, didn't trust what I was going to do, I should say. Even close friends, to where sometimes I just didn't get invited places. And they would tell me, I mean, you know, sorry, but we didn't know what you were gonna do. So that sucks.
Where are you now? Like, briefly describe your life or how much better it's gotten since you made the decision to give up drinking or to really change everything in your life.
I would have a lot of people say, man, if you would just quit drinking, you could be doing all these amazing things, you know? Me and my lady were passing by a liquor store. I was so tempted just to tell her to pull in. That was the moment when I really knew. I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I just quit cold turkey. But I did go about 95% blind for a couple of days. Again, I was advised pretty harshly not to do that. I had $3 in my pocket, and I took that $3 and put it in a jar.
Wait.
I literally have that.
What? Hold on, that just hit me. 95% blind, motherfuckers. You're having that kind of withdrawal effect? Jeez. What does that have to do with blindness? Why would you go blind?
$3 in that jar in my truck right now. And I've never been broke since then.
Now you have a house that's under your name.
Yeah, he said I'm rich now.
You're in the bands, you're crushing it there. You have another band, you have a healthy
He's in
relationship.
multiple bands?
You got your health back. You have
And
a lot
he got
of
a shorty?
people, when they think of like, oh man, if I could turn my life around, if I could have a good life, it looked like this. Like, you got a lot of those things.
I got addicted to doing better, you know, and I don't know if it's healthy to hold other people to this standard, but I think it's very healthy to hold yourself to it. You know, how you do anything is how you do everything. You're the type of person that you're walking in from your mailbox and you have trash on the ground, and you're able to go through that mindset of, I'll get it later, or someone else will pick that up. I think it's very telling about all your behavior in your life.
Well, it's almost swapping addictions. It takes the same amount of energy, but when you rechannel and refocus that energy towards something that's constructive, not destructive, it's not like it takes more work. You actually find yourself left with more energy.
It takes less energy. Now I have friends that I've only met in this mode, so they have no idea, and they're just like, man, you know, your work ethic is so crazy.
What's your advice to someone who wants to reinvent themselves?
Here would be my direct advice. Don't live on the fence in any way, shape, or form. If you're living on the fence, A, you're miserable. B, you're making everyone else miserable because you're dragging them through your story. Me hearing something very similar to this was so inspiring, because I felt like once I just started doing it, just like picking up that piece of trash as you walk by, you know, just like once you start doing it, it starts to become habit. Be prepared to realize that most of your mindset is wrong. I have been humbled and am continually humbled on a daily basis at how much I don't know. I tell you, I've never been happier in my life, my relationship.
The more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know, bro. And I feel that sometimes a lot. Like, sometimes I will wake up and I will be thinking about a topic, and then I'll be thinking about something else that I used to worry about before, and I'm just like, well, now I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, I don't know so much that I don't know what to do. Like, I don't even know if I should care about this anymore because of how much I don't know. Like, it'll just hit me. It's just like, I don't know. Shit.
Of 12 years has never been better. And I've been saying that for years now. It's nice to be trusted. It's nice to be counted on. People don't look back when they ask me to do something. They know it's going to be done. We only get to do this once. I say charge it.
The final point
Yes.
is a little different.
If you give me just 89 seconds, I'm going to show you this $1 million skill that they were scared to teach you in school.
Oh my
And how you
god,
can use
fuck
it to-
off, man. Fuck off. I see these all the time. It's like fucking Jordan B. Peterson said. You know, you gotta fucking, you're all in this game. Right? It's not necessarily, it's not really a game. Depends on how you define a game, but you're all in. Right? This is gonna kill you. You're gonna die. You're gonna die anyway. And that's the best way that I know that you really have nothing to lose. That's the best way to know that you have nothing to lose, is to know that you're gonna die anyway. Right? So while you're here, while you've been given this 1 in 400 trillion chance opportunity, whatever the fuck, make it the best. You know, make it the most magnificent game ever. Make it the best, most craziest, most exciting. Make it the game that you want to play, right? Make it the life that you want to live. Go out there. Don't let, this survival, your biological self, only worried about survival, all of this stupid shit that doesn't matter, that we don't need anymore. Just, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Just do something, right? Cause a change in society. Do something great. Because whatever it ain't about you. Whatever you feel, whatever you think you are, you can't take it with you when you die. But you can leave it here. So leave something here, right? Come into this life, leave something here that's great, whatever that may be, and go. That's it, right? But like, play the most magnificent game, and that's how you can leave things here, by playing that game.
In my early 20s, I thought self-improvement was about achievement. Now in my 30s, I realize a lot of that's ego-based. It doesn't necessarily make you feel different when you get more things. When you go deeper, a lot of the self-improvement is good, but it's half of it. The other half is self-healing. These are two different things. So one of the trends I picked up in several books, more Eastern ones, is the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness has two folds. The first is forgiving of others. Growing up, my dad and I didn't have the closest relationship. Part of me wanted to resent him from it. So one day I realized, even though I didn't have the best relationship with someone for 20 years, do I want that affecting the next 40 years? The answer was no. People change, people grow, people evolve, people are all on their own journey.
Right, and if you're a psychologist, I mean, motherfuckers just feel like, if you're dealing with somebody that knows psychology, I want you to know that if you're a shitter, and like you're an angry person that's miserable, and you blow up on people, you didn't deal with the emotions you needed to deal with, these motherfuckers, you know what they're saying in their heads? They know. Like, they feel sorry for you. They pity you. They're not angry at you for whatever you're gonna do. You're gonna yell at them, call them useless, stupid, retarded, whatever. That's like shit like my dad called me. Like, well, I understand that he doesn't really mean any of that. He just doesn't know what else the fuck to say, right? It's like, this man is just acting the only way he knows how. This is all, a result of, generational shits, the way he was raised, shit that he didn't deal with, being a man. It's a whole lot of shit, right? And it's just like, you gotta feel sorry for them. I can't get mad at anybody.
Flash forward now, we have a great relationship. It's never been stronger. In order to have that relationship, you have to forgive and move on from what happened in the past. Forgiveness is a huge trend that any book worth its weight in gold will tell you how to do. I believe it's the Buddha has a quote something along the lines of, holding on to bitterness and resentment is like drinking rat poison and hoping that the other person dies. I realize that holding on to bitterness around other people, or what they should or shouldn't have done, they wronged me, maybe you have an ex and you still have some resentment there, it doesn't hurt them at all, it hurts you. Finding ways to shed this off and let go has so much more of a freedom to it. But forgiveness has another side as well, probably a bigger one that affects you more day to day, and that is forgiving yourself. Let me explain this to you in a more visual way. Looks a little messy, but it'll have to do. This is reused from another video.
Beautiful.
I was too lazy to draw this up again. If you just rank ordered all the given emotions you could feel on the human spectrum, it'd be pretty intuitive where they land. You'd have things at the very bottom. The worst feelings in the world are shame, fear, guilt, other people have things I don't, envy, anger. Then you'd start to move up into pride, fear, eventually coming into courage and willingness. Finally, some of the good ones are love, peace, freedom, aliveness, joy. When people talk about raising your vibe, this is what they mean: going from lower emotions into higher ones. Where am I going with this, and how does this tie into forgiveness? Where does resentment, anger, fear, hate fall into? In this category right here. I find that a lot of times people who need to forgive themselves are holding on to a lot of the stories and self-judgments about what they did or didn't do in their past. And so by doing that, that's bringing you in a state that's literally lowering your vibe. My point is that making peace with yourself in some way actually raises your vibe. There's a saying, what you resist persists. So the areas and the places you don't want to go deep down within yourself are probably the places you're going to get the most growth from. Psychologists will say that most people, this is uncomfortable because now you're actually telling me to work. I thought these books were just feel good, all fluff. I don't actually want to work and do some introspection. Yeah, just give me the next tactic or productivity advice. And they wonder why they're saying the same thing and hearing the same message over and over and feeling stuck. That's a sign you need to do some of this. And so forgiveness is a two-way street. It's forgiveness of others, and it's also forgiveness of yourself. To the degree you're able to let go is the degree you're able to let in the things you actually want.
You gotta let go to grow.
Self-improvement book that's worth its weight in gold will also emphasize the self-healing that is involved in the process. If you'd like some help on the self-improvement and self-healing aspect, that's what our whole Metamorphic program focuses on. It's a 10-week deep dive. We spend about half the time focused on self-improvement, creating that 2.0 you, but you better believe we focus and dive deep into the self-healing and self-forgiveness part. And I know all this can be overwhelming. I know all these books and tactics and tools can sound familiar, but if you felt that like education has really
I like how they're wobbling.
Entertainment, if you're brutally honest, I'd invite you to apply down below, have a conversation with one of our coaches. They're cool people. It's a low pressure conversation to see if we can actually help you. A question I get is which books would I recommend? So what I'll do now is link up this video where I'm going over the 5 books I'd recommend you read this year. Click that video and I'll see you there.
Learn a language by watching.
I actually really like that. I got a sub to this guy. I did subscribe. Ha! Clark, and he just hit 1 million subs. My guy. My fucking G. Good shit, man. Let me give it a like to that. I like that. I would say, like I said, the 4th one I would include. So that was what? Forgiveness. What was the other one? Willpower? No, wait. What was it? Fuck, I already forgot. What was the first one? The first one was
choose from hundreds of TV shows.
There will be no perfect time to start, right? Like just start now. There's no perfect time. Yeah, I would probably add a 4th. I would definitely say purpose. Finding your purpose. That's the one thing that I noticed when all of them. Stop waiting to take action for the perfect moment. For exoneration. Basically, gone is better than perfect. Happiness comes from solving your problems, not avoiding them. I always believed that, by the way. 2, self-reliance, learned helplessness or discouragement is the enemy. Instead, strive to improve yourself by getting up from shocks and failures with tenacity and grit. Get back control. I like that. I like that! Shit! But yeah, I'd add a 4th. Purpose. You got all of those 4, bam, you don't even need to read a book, right? Just add purpose. Just purpose. That's it. Find your purpose. Then those 3. And then boom, you're on your way. You don't even need to read a self-help book. There you go. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you got. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe. You know the good jazz, man. Shouts out to my man, Clark Kegley. Hope I didn't butcher that. But I will see you guys in the next video. Yes, sir.